After almost 8 years. 8 years. My wife finally got a dent in her car. It's like she's not even trying. I don't understand it. But you know how a car, when it's brand new, you park it so far away, you have to take the bus in to go to the store? That's kind of how she was when she first got her brand new car. But then she did that for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years until, when she started letting me drive it. And I'm not saying this happened when I was driving it. I think it actually happened when she went to the store. She just now parks where you park and stuff happens. And it's the winter time, so there's dirt and stuff on the side of the car, and she didn't notice it. It looked like something a little bit different with regard to the dirt in this one spot. But guess what? It ends up, it's a dent. Somebody pulling out of a parking spot and put that front bumper a little too far over and put a dent in your back quarter panel. It happens. It happens. Making an impact. And that's what I'm talking about today. It's about actually making an impact on purpose. You're not going to bang into stuff. Now, see, I drive a lifted Jeep Wrangler. It's a 97. It's got a few miles on it, but it also has rocker panels. It's got an aftermarket front bumper and aftermarket back bumper, which are better than the bumpers that were on it originally. And when you hit my vehicle, if you hit my vehicle, there's a really good chance that it's going to dent your vehicle. It's going to make an impact on your vehicle than on my vehicle. There's a reasonably good chance of that, especially just in a parking lot. And it did happen. Somebody back-ended me, and I didn't even get out of the car. I just saw that it was a teenager behind me, and I looked back, and they ran into the back of my Jeep, and it caused a bit of a jolt. And I looked back, and I'm thinking, man, they're in trouble. And I just drove on. I went and parked and got out and looked at the back of my vehicle. Never knew anything happened. Now, it was enough of a jar that probably, very, very likely, the front of that person's vehicle had a dent in it. And I didn't try to make an impact. They made an impact. But I'm talking about an impact online, which is where the world is these days. Everything is online. You're online. I'm online. We're all online. But there are some rules to impact, and they're not laws. Laws should not be broken. They're rules, because rules can be broken in certain situations, but for the most part, it's a rule. It's a rule. So we're looking at the rules of impact. 7 rules of impact. How to make an impact online. And so you're going to remember these. They're going to be absolutely amazing. You're going to go, when you hear them, or you're going to go, really, Bill? I knew that. I really, really knew that. And I get it. You knew it, but are you doing it? If you want to make an impact online, and guys, it's easy. It's easier than you think to make an impact online. And if you follow these 7 rules, you're going to make an impact online. Here's the first rule. The rule of the few. Now, this has to do with knowing your people or your niche. If you're going to try and make something online that's going to appeal to the entire world, very few people will notice. But if you try to make an impact to, let's say, well, it's March Madness coming up, and I'm a Duke fan. So, if I want to make an impact to people who cheer for Duke college basketball, I'm going to make more of an impact, because those people have their radar up. They are watching. They are absolutely watching for stuff to happen, for stuff to take place. So the rule of the few is, don't aim to impact the world. Aim to impact, to use an analogy, aim to impact the car in front of you, but not in a bad way. Make it the rule. If you have a niche, know exactly who you're going for. Now, if you're going to break this rule, you're going to try to appeal to everybody. And if you try to appeal to everybody, you will appeal to absolutely nobody at all. Second rule is the rule of giving. This has to do with reciprocity. If you keep giving people knowledge and giving people ideas and giving people thoughts and giving people inspiration and giving people instruction and giving people ideas, if you're doing all of those things, you are giving, and a person will feel, just because you're giving so much, they will feel like, hey, I really owe Bill something because he gives so much. Or I really owe you something because you give so much. And that's the rule of giving. It has to do with reciprocity. Now, to break the rule is to assume that other people have to give to you first. Really? Well, I haven't given me anything, so I'm not going to give anything back. That's a terrible way to live. Look for a way to give. Now, my wife traveled yesterday, and it started off by her flight from here, well, Denver, but you get it, got canceled. Yeah, it just got canceled. So what did she do? She'll look for a way to actually, how can I work with this and give? So instead of leaving at 8 in the morning, she left at 10:30 in the morning. You know what that meant? That meant her connecting flight in Toronto had already gone by the time she got there. So now she has to get vouchers. She has to stay overnight in in a hotel, and she has to get vouchers to eat, because that's what they owe to her, because they're the ones that canceled. They've just started giving and giving and giving. But my wife, instead of getting upset and mad, my wife says, hey, this is an opportunity for me to give to somebody else, for me to help somebody else. And her radar went up to say, this is a lousy situation. I'm going to be a day late getting where I'm going to go. But in the meantime, is there something I can give? Is there some way that I can give to somebody else or help somebody else? And that's the rule of giving. Give first. Don't go with your hand out. Go with something in your hand and give to somebody else. And if you do that enough times, reciprocity is okay, you've given so much to me, let me give something back to you. That's the rule of giving. Now, the third rule is the rule of the smile. It's hard for me to smile. We're told that if you want to have friends, you have to be friendly. Wow, really? If you want to have friends, you got to be friendly. And this has to do with the idea of being likable. Not every personality is likable. Some people are absolute idiots. They have to be too cute, or they try too hard. And sometimes all it takes is a smile. just to be a friend, not an obnoxious friend, but just to be a friend. Now, to break this rule is to be distant, snobbish even. Oh, I'm too good to smile at you, or I'm too good to give a thought or an idea to you. It kind of breaks the previous rule of giving. But the rule of a smile is just to be friendly. And in order for somebody to be liked, you have to be on a lot. If you want to make an impact, you have to be online a lot. And so the rule of the smile is just be friendly. Are there going to be haters? Yes. People are going to say you're crazy, loony, and all those other things. Who cares? And people are going to like you. And they're going to like you because you have a smile. But I guarantee you, if you be bland, if you be snobbish or distant, and you come on and go, well, I'm on here again because this is what I've been told to do. You're not being friendly. You're just doing a duty, and it's not helping anybody. The rule of the smile is just to be likable. Well, you're saying it's hard for me to be likable. It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily hard to be likable. Just be yourself. You will find the friends that will connect with you if you just be yourself and be a friend. Be easy to approach. And the best way to approach somebody is a person with, well, a smile. And like I said, to break this rule is to be distant and snobbish, and really you just don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. Now, the next rule is the rule of the mailman. Every day I walk outside, every day, in the evening, and our mailman doesn't come till 5:30 at night. We're at the end of the route, and he comes in every day. He drops off mail. Now, it's not 7 days a week, it's 6 days a week, but every day he shows up. He drops mail off. And even if there's not mail, he's in front of my house because he's driving by. If he doesn't stop, he's at least driving by because he shows up every day. Now, Russell Brunson has been known to say that if you show up online, if you go live online every day for a year, you'll never have to worry about money for the rest of your life. Just showing up every day. This has to do with consistency. But for us online, it has to do with social proof. If you're online every day, the social proof adds up and continues to add up and continues to add up. So you just have to keep showing up. You just have to keep being there. And to break this rule means you're not a mailman. You're not showing up every day. You're showing up once a week. You're showing up maybe twice a week. You're kind of showing up. But the rule of the mailman has to do with social proof. So you have to show up every day. Just keep showing up. And then you go to the idea. Here's an excuse that people use. Is, well, what do I say? Say hi. Smile. Give. If you're reading a book, show up every day and say, hey, man, I was reading this book, and here's what I learned in this book, and it was so good I wanted to share it with you. That's just something that you can do every day. It's okay. I once sat down and read my own book and read highlights from my own book and then put it out every day. I just kept showing up. And to break this rule is to not be seen every day, to be seen once a week at the very minimum, or once a month. That's absolutely terrible. It's like you're not trying at all. The rule of the mailman is neither rain nor shine nor gloom of night or storm or snow, whatever that saying is. The mailman always does his appointed rounds. And if you want to make an impact online, if you want to make a dent online, show up every day. Just keep showing up. That's the rule of the mailman. Now, the next rule is the rule of the sun. The rule of the sun has to do with consistency, because every day since the day I was born, the sun has risen in the east. It's very predictable. Very, very predictable. Sun's coming up. Well, it's cloudy. Well, it's still light out. That means the sun is coming up. And the sun's going to set in the west. And that's where it's supposed to set. And it's the rule of consistency. For you and me, that just means be predictable. That's why every Tuesday at 7 a.m., here I am. No matter where I am, here I am, right here. And I'm trying to be predictable. At least once a week, you know where I'm going to be, and you know where you can find me. Here I am. I'm consistent. I'm predictable in that regard. Now, to break this rule is to be inconsistent. When's Bill coming on today? When's Bill going to show up today? Is he going to show up today? Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe he's going to show up tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. But to break it is to be inconsistent, and to be inconsistent all the time. And you may think it's cute to go, oh, I'm going to jump in at 10 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. to surprise everybody. Nobody's surprised. Nobody's surprised. They were looking for you at 7. So show up at 7. The rule of the sun is consistency. Now, if you're going to start doing something every day, at least be consistent and do it every day. The rule of the sun. Now, to break it is to be inconsistent, and you never know when the sun's going to come up. That would be bad if you never knew when the sun was going to come up. That's the rule of the sun, is to break that. Now, there is the rule of the rabbit, and you're looking at this picture and you're going, there is no rabbit in this picture. There's no rabbit. Well, there's a mechanical rabbit out in front of these racing greyhounds. This rule has to do with authority. And you're thinking, Bill, I'm no authority on anything. Well, I kind of thought the same thing. But I do know this, that if you're looking at a particular thing, let's say you're reading a particular book, I'm one chapter ahead of you. Then I'm just one step ahead of you, and you're not gonna, I'm gonna know one more thing that you don't, and I share it with you. I'm not trying to ruin the book. I'm not talking like a novel where you're looking at, where you're going to break the plot or, mess up people. By the way, he dies at the end. You don't want that type of idea, but you get the idea of the mechanical rabbit. The rabbit never gets caught, because if the rabbit gets caught during a greyhound race, the race is scrapped. The race is over. So the rabbit has to stay ahead so that the other people, the greyhounds, will run toward it. To break this is to not stay one step ahead or to be caught. You're saying, I don't know what's going on, but I'm a step ahead of you. And that's not to say, ooh, I'm a step ahead of you. That's not the idea. The idea is if I just stay just a little bit ahead of you with this idea of making an easy online impact, then I have something to share with you, and I'm pulling you up. Think about it as a series of cliffs, and I get to one ledge, and you're down a ledge, and I pull you up by telling you about this stuff, this amazing software, or how easy it is, or how you can do something. And I pull you up, and as I pull you up, I get you to that spot where I am, and then I go up ahead so that I can stay one step ahead. That's the rule of the rabbit, is just staying one step ahead, and that makes you an authority. I'm not kidding. It makes you an authority to the people that are only one step behind. You're not trying to be the smartest man in the world, or the smartest person in the room even. You're just trying to stay one step ahead of the people that you are trying to serve, so that you can serve them. But to break it is to not stay one step ahead, and to not have anything new to offer to people. That's that rule. Now, the last rule is the rule of the Oasis. I'd like an oasis. You're trudging along in the desert, you need something to drink, and you're thirsty, and you're starting to get wasted a little bit with the lack of water, and there's an oasis. And that oasis gives you water, it gives you shade, it gives you rest, it gives you peace of mind. And the rule of the oasis has to do with scarcity. Yeah, scarcity. And the idea of scarcity is it's not that you're open all the time, but when you do open it up, people are ready to jump in and be part of you. Ready, it's the idea of the limited time offer, and you see this all the time. Hey, come and join my group. Only 1 week in order to join, and that is scarcity. It's a limited time offer. Now, to break this is to always be open and available. And guess what? Sometimes this is a rule that's broken, where, hey, come see me anytime. Come grab me and check me out anytime. And that might be okay. That might work for what you're doing online. But if you have something like a group that you want to have people join, you want it to be a limited time offer. Here's the oasis. You're in the desert. Here's the oasis. Come join me. Come be with me. Come be a part of this. That's what we're looking at. So those are the 7 rules. Think about those things. Those are the 7 rules, and the rules can be broken. Sometimes you break the rule and it's to your detriment. And every now and then, maybe 1 or 2 of the rules, if you break it, it's to your benefit, but you don't break it all the time. They are rules for a reason. You want to make a dent, if you want to make an impact online, this is the way you do it. This is how it can be done. And if you do it every day, consistency, then you will make an impact in the lives of others by helping other people. And that's kind of the point. Find a need and meet it. Find a need and meet it. So I am Bill McConnell, Easy Online Impact. If there's anything I can do to help you, you know where to find me. You know where it is. You can check the comments or the whatever, because I always drop something into the first comment or into the description where you can find me and get a hold of me. And that's kind of how it is. Now, if you want to like, share, comment, that would be great. Or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And YouTube is what I'm trying to build up. So yeah, YouTube would be a great thing. Other than that, have a great day. Have a great week. Make an impact online. Make a dent in someone else, and make it in a good way, not a bad way. Okay, don't leave the dent in the car, but make a positive dent in other people's lives today or this week.